Hello all. So we shall be studying while loop in Python today. What exactly is the while loop? The while loop is called a conditional loop. The statements in a while loop are executed again and again as long as a particular condition is true. So we take a starting statement and evaluate it against a test condition. If the condition is true, then the statements which are part of the body of the loop are executed, and then we go for the next iteration of the loop. Again, the test condition is evaluated. If it is true, then the statements are executed again and we go for the next iteration. If the test condition is false, then the loop terminates and we exit from the loop. Let us see the syntax of the while loop. We begin with the while keyword and then give the test condition. After that, we have a colon, which means that the statements will form the body of the loop will be indented. We also have an else portion. Here, the control is passed only when the test condition is false. As long as the test condition is true, the statements which form the body of the loop are executed repeatedly. Once the test condition is false, then control is transferred to the else portion. This portion is completely optional. When control is transferred here, then the statement in the else portion is executed. Let us see an example. Whenever I am working with a while loop, I need to give an initial value to the loop variable. So here I am giving an initial value of 6 to the loop variable a. As long as the value of a is greater than 0, welcome will be displayed. Also, in a while loop, the loop variable must be updated before the next iteration of the loop. So here I am giving a is equal to a minus 2. For the next iteration of the loop, the new value of a will be checked. If it is greater than 0, then the loop will execute once more. Once the loop terminates, when a becomes 0 or less than 0, then control will pass to the else portion and this message loop terminated will be displayed. Let us see how this program will work. So when the initial value of a is 6, we will be checking it against the test condition. Here the test condition is a greater than 0. This is true. So control will come inside the loop and print welcome statement will be executed. So the output would be welcome for the first time. Then I am updating the loop variable here. So a is equal to a minus 2 is executed. So a becomes 4. So for the next iteration of the loop, the value of 4 will be checked against the test condition. Here 4 is greater than 0. So this statement is true and then control will pass inside the loop and welcome will be printed again. So here we see welcome is printed a second time. Now a is equal to a minus 2 is executed. A becomes 2. So for the next iteration, this is checked with the test condition. 2 is greater than 0, which is true. So welcome will be printed a third time. So if we see here, welcome is printed a third time. Now a is equal to a minus 2 statement is executed. A becomes 0. So for the next iteration of the loop, the test condition now becomes false. So the loop will terminate here and control will pass to the else portion. In the else portion, loop terminated statement has been given which will be printed. So if you see here, loop terminated statement has got displayed. Let us see another example. Here I am accepting numbers from the user and then displaying the sum of all the even numbers from the ones which have been entered. The loop should continue till the user enters a 0. So I have taken the initial values of sum and num to be 0 and 1. If you know, in Python, we can use multiple variables and declare them simultaneously using the comma operator. So sum has been given a value of 0 and num, which is my loop variable, has been given an initial value of 1. In this case, when the test condition is checked, num is greater than 0 is true because the value of num is 1. So here I am accepting a value from the user and overwriting it in num. So for the first time, number 2 is entered. Here I am checking is the number divisible by 2. So num mod 2 will give the remainder, and then it should be equal to 0. So 2 mod 2 in this case will be equal to 0. This condition will be true, and then this portion sum is equal to sum plus num will be executed. So sum will now become 2. Again, loop will be executed and the test condition is evaluated. So in this case 2 is greater than 0, so this condition will be true and control will pass inside the loop, and I am accepting num from the user again. So 3 is entered. 3 mod 2 is not equal to 0. This condition is false, so if is not executed. Again, num greater than 0 is evaluated. So 3 is greater than 0. Condition is true. And I enter the loop again and accept the value of num from the user. So in this case, 4 is entered. 4 mod 2 is equal to 0. This condition is true. And sum plus is equal to num statement is executed. So in the beginning, sum was 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. Again, when the loop is executed, num is 4, 4 is greater than 0, and then the control enters the loop. Now here I enter 0. So 0 mod 2 is equal to 0. It is added to sum, but the sum remains 6. Now for the next iteration, when num is checked with 0. So 0 is not greater than 0. This condition now becomes false and the loop terminates. So control will come outside the loop and come to the print statement here. If you see, I have not given any else portion here. So control will pass to the statement which is outside the while loop. So this statement print the sum is will be executed, and therefore I get the statement the sum is 6. So if you see here, for the first time, the program was executed 4 times. In the next part, the program was executed 6 times. So in this case, we do not know how many times the program will be run. The loop will continue as long as the user does not enter a 0. So this difference between while loop and for loop is asked in Viva. One of the biggest difference is the for loop is used when we know the number of iterations. We know how many times the loop will be executed. The while loop, as I showed just now, will be used when I do not know the number of iterations. I do not know how many times the loop will be executed, but I know the condition and the while loop will be running based on the condition only. In the case of the for loop, the iteration statement, that is the step statement in the range function, is written at the top of the loop. In the case of the while loop, the iteration statement can be written anywhere inside the loop. Also, in the case of for loop, initialization, stopping and iteration statements are given at the top of the loop. In the case of while loop, only the initialization and condition checking statements are written at the top of the loop. So this is a major difference between while and for loop. That will be all. Thank you.